with Association of Civil Engineers, Madan Mohan Malviya, University of Technology, Gorakhpur. And the topic for today's webinar is Construction Site Management, General Work Supervision. Today, we have amongst us distinguished speakers, Dr. P.R. Swaroop sir, Director General CIDC and Member Secretary ECI. Also, we have Engineer Ajit Kumar Mishra sir as speaker for today's webinar, IRSC Chief Project Engineer, DFCCIL in Ministries of Railways, and also an alumnus of IIT Kanpur and IIM Kolkata. Also, we have amongst us Engineer B.R. Jain sir, Senior Advisor, ECI, and Mr. P.K. Mishra sir, Additional Director, CIDC. Now, moving on further, I would like to request Dr. P.R. Swaroop sir to please start the webinar by delivering an inaugural speech. Dr. Swaroop has done BTech in Civil Engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1975. Sir has done PhD from Rajiv Gandhi Technical University, Bhopal. Sir is also decorated with a DSc by Assam Central University. Dr. Swaroop joined CIDC in the year 1996 as the first director, and presently he is working as the Director General of CIDC. Sir is a recipient of Golden Peacock National Training Award for the initiative Holistic Human Resource Development for the Marginalized Segment of Society. Sir is also a recipient of EPC World Awards 2012 for outstanding contribution in skill development in construction industry. Apart from this, Sir is also presently serving as the member of Planning Board of Government of Tripura. Sir is also presently serving as the member of Planning and Monitoring Board of Union Territory of Ladakh. He is the author of numerous research papers originally published on construction industry in various technical journals. Sir, I request you to please join us.
Thank you so much and very good morning to all of you, my students and other colleagues from the industry. And I believe that you all have assembled in very large numbers. Essentially, this program is meant for the young engineers who are still pursuing their bachelor's program and master's program in various engineering colleges. And this is part of the series that we have planned to hold under the auspices of the Madan Mohan Malviya University of Technology of Gorakhpur. Of course, there are other associates as well. And the program will be treated as one of the internship programs for under the AICTE and Engineering Council of India scheme. So the students who are participating today, they will be able to get the credits of this program, and which goes for the fulfillment of their Bachelor of Technology or Master of Technology degree. And I wish them all the success. Do join the programs which are going to be coming in the series. And I think in these difficult times, this is the only way that we can possibly spread the education, give the experience to our young people who would be needed by the industry in the times to come. And I think this is the best way to interact also and to seek questions and answers and to basically, satisfy the hunger for knowledge. So the topic today is very interesting, but it's a very complex issue. And it says that construction site management, general work supervision. Now, what all is required for the supervising of the site works, the construction works that you have? You require a lot of engineering skills. You also require interpersonal skills. You need to basically be aware of certain legal nuances. You have to basically be familiar with the history and geography of the place where you are going to be working, because as they say that there are no boundaries, geographical boundaries for civil engineers, They can work in India, they can work anywhere. As a matter of fact, in my own career, I have had the chance to work even areas which are closer to North Pole and very, very cold places, and probably the coldest anywhere in the world where the human habitation was there. So it can take you to various places. It will teach you how to speak many languages. It will teach you the basics of financing, accounts, how to handle the labor relations, how to basically manage the things when you are in adversity, how to handle the health, safety, and environment issues. So it's a very, very large ambit of things. But I think the experts today will basically begin with something which is simple to digest, and then from there we go on. And my suggestion to all of you will be, please look at various other courses in this particular series. Do join. This is the best way to utilize your time while you are quarantined or you are at home and you are not able to move out and not able to attend the classes also in the college. I think that's the best way to exchange ideas, to learn many new things. There is another appeal that I want to make, and to all the young students especially, and that is basically to join the Register of Professional Engineers of Engineering Council of India under the student subchapter. And this will basically enable you to remain in touch with many experts in the field, and all of them definitely with very proven kind of credentials. I have many of the senior persons also who have joined from all parts of the country. They have come from south of India, they have come from east of India, and they have also come from west as well as central India, and of course we are all sitting in North India for that matter. So it's going to be a very good opportunity. Pay all the attention, and also bring in all other friends of yours who are even pursuing the programs in different colleges, and let us try to make it a very, very strong fraternity of engineers, because you are the people who are going to be running the show in future. We are kind of handing it over to you, so I think a lot of responsibility lies on your shoulders. I have a very good opportunity here to introduce Ajit Kumar Mishra, who's a fellow alumnus from IIT Kanpur and an excellent engineer and a very good manager. Having finished his Bachelor of Technology with flying colors, he went to Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata. Then he had a stint abroad also, learned many things from Imperial College of Sciences and London School of Economics for that matter. He presently is the Chief Project Manager in Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India Limited, which is an organization set up by Ministry of Railways, and is engaged with the section of the dedicated freight corridor that is being constructed in eastern UP itself. So you have Mughal Sarai section and others that are under the care of Ajit here. And incidentally, Ajit is also a professional engineer. He's a member of the National Register of Professional Engineers of Engineering Council of India, and an excellent professional for that matter. And he will be able to give you a glimpse in the way things are being managed when it comes to dedicated freight corridor, which is extremely important for the economy of our country and also for the kind of transit movements, so that the passenger traffic can flow regularly and the freight can be taken to various places at the fastest pace possible. A lot of new technologies are being introduced, but more than the technology, I think there are many other issues which Ajit has been able to introduce in the execution of this particular project. I give you an example, and which is again an area of great interest for the young people. And he has been able to introduce the surveying and the surveillance of the project utilizing the drone technology. And this is a technology which is a very, very recent technology, but it is opening up a lot of opportunities for the employment for our young engineers. So another appeal that I have to make to the young people is that they should basically look at this particular area and also approach our Mr. P.K. Mishra for onward help and assistance. We have already had a couple of sessions in Gorakhpur, which Mr. Mishra will give you an idea. And very soon, we shall be working under the auspices of Ministry of Civil Aviation to offer the regular licensing to the young persons, which is going to be very, very helpful for them to become entrepreneurs or to basically serve many of the corporation. Just to give you a brief, a glimpse into things, at this particular moment, we have in country a requirement of more than 2.5 lakh engineers who know how to basically use the drone technology. So there is a lot of opportunity available for all of you. And my suggestion will be try to look at it very seriously. And many more such suggestions will come from Ajit, who's again, as I told you, it's a good fortune for all of us to have Ajit in spite of his busy schedule. He is today with us and we would definitely like to listen to him. So thank you very much and God bless you all. Listen to everything that he speaks and other experts speak very, very carefully, very patiently. Follow all the advices that are given to you and always have that feeling of respect for your teachers. Always remember this. They are your teachers, and if you become big in life, almost 90% of the responsibility goes to teacher. I was watching through one of the chat which a student by the name of Shreyas Pathak, he has said, I am advising to Shreyas Pathak to look at the language of the chat that he has written and try to be more polite in future. Okay? So Shreyas, that's a message for you. Always try to be very polite and very respectful to your teachers. All right? So with that, I give it to Ajit. And Ajit, you are welcome. Before that, they will read out your details so that everybody is aware as to what are the kind of achievements that you have done. God bless you all and best of luck to Ajit. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Ajit, you may begin, please.
Yeah. Very good morning. Special good morning to Dr. Swaroop, our mentor, and other colleagues who have joined for this webinar. The topic of my webinar is construction site management. I'll straight away take you through my slides, and from there I'll begin my presentation and discussion along with you. So first I'll be sharing my screen with you all. The topic today is construction site management, general work supervision as introduced by the host. I am Ajit Kumar Mishra giving you this presentation today. The overall presentation scheme is first, I'll be discussing about different project management phases and will explain where this construction site management comes in the project management phase. And then I'll dig down to the nuances of construction site management. Along the journey today, I'll be discussing the infrastructure project scenario also, and then I'll connect that how the site management is important. Then, as I told you, I'll dig down to the nuances of site management. And then I'll show you some of the best practices, especially taking the examples from the railway sector and the other construction project sites. And then I'll be summarizing with the way forward and the takeaways. As you can see here in this timeline, as you go along the time from left to right, this is the genesis of the project and then ending of a project. As you all know, the project has a definite beginning and definite end. That's what makes a project different from other endeavors. The entire project phase can be divided into these. I have taken the 6 parts, but there are other definitions who divides the entire project phase in 5 parts, 6 parts, or something. There are other definitions also. But what I'll suggest that you don't take this project phases in very academic manner. So far your academics are concerned, you describe in your exam what your professor is teaching, but as a professional engineer, while you are working, you need to devise your own project phases, backing with the academics background, what we have learned, what you have learned, and then charter your own scheme. This will help you in many ways. But what I try to emphasize here is, as you can see, that there is if you subdivide it into say 2 parts. The first part is decision making part, where initially the decisions to take up the project and how to take up the projects are taken. And then there is a bigger implementation phase. During this implementation phase, and another important phase comes where the works are taken at site, that you can describe as site management.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yeah. Is there any question?
So please proceed.
Okay, thank you. This project phases, as I mentioned, that there are different standards. Even ISO has come out with the ISO specification 21500. Indian standards has also issued guidelines on project management, that number I have given. Then there are several project management institutes like Project Management Institute USA, then IPMA, then Association of Project Managers, Managements. All these are prevalent all across the globe in different part of the world, and people are following their norms. They are slightly different, and as per their convenience, people are choosing it. And you are also free to choose whatever you like. But so far the theory goes, that is one part. I'll take you mostly today to the how to implement the what knowledge of project management you have learned from different sources into a proper site management. Coming to next slide. Before I take you to this, the why the site management is important, I like to show you some of the statistics that what is the infrastructure project scenario across the globe. If you take the issues in developed country, as a study in 20 countries shows that 9 out of 10, that means 90% of the projects has cost overruns. That means whatever budget has been allotted or the estimates have been made, 90% projects have failed to meet that estimates. Another study in 44 urban rail projects shows that 45% cost overrun, there is a cost overrun of about 45%. And 25% of projects have cost overrun, which is as high as 60%. Then talking about, say, for example, metro rail projects where the estimation of traffic is done, then the passenger ridership estimates are 50% lower. What I mean to say that not only it's not only India which is generally blamed as developing country, that projects are getting delayed and things are not being managed properly. The same scenario as far as the project management is concerned, it is prevalent across the globe. What is the scenario in Indian Railways? I mean, I being an Indian Railways officer, I can tell you with the authenticity that what scenario is prevailing in Indian Railways. This data I am sharing through the audit report of the Government of India, that target dates for completion of projects were either not fixed or not available on record. Physical progress is slower. Projects were delayed due to delay in preparation or like sanction of estimates and delay in acquisition of land. This land acquisition issue are getting critical day by day. Completion of projects which has resulted into cost overrun of over 1 lakh crore and huge throw forward of 1.8 lakh crore in respect of 442 ongoing projects. You can just see the figures. That's over 1 lakh crores has resulted into the cost overrun of the different projects. In this 5-year duration of 2009 to 2014, 202 projects were added to the existing shelf of ongoing projects, ignoring the fund constraints. As you know, the government of India and especially the Ministry of Railways going through this financial crunches, but still we keep on adding the new projects without looking for the availability of funds. 75% of projects are ongoing for more than 15 years, and of them 3 projects are as old as 30 years. The rate of return is less than the prescribed benchmark of 14%. In all government projects, they are found considered viable if the rate of return is 14%. Otherwise, if they are sanctioned, they has to have some kind of social backing. That is, the project should be in the benefit of public good. Then only it can be sanctioned. But many projects were not meeting this benchmark. There is lack of consistency in prioritizing of the projects. This has led to the misappropriation or poor appropriation of the fund to the important projects. This scenario, why I presented before you to sensitize that why it is important to have a proper site management, because site is a place where your dreams are carved into reality. Whatever good drawings or good plans you have prepared, those drawings and plans are implemented during site management or construction of the project. This is the place where the action begins, because before that, most of the things are in your computer desktop or in drawing books or in your files. But here, whatever you have planned are being implemented. As I mentioned you, how bad the overall project scenario in the country, for that matter, it's not so good scenario as well. The basic responsibility lies on the site manager. And as I told, that site manager, a site is the work where the real action begins. And there comes the role of site manager. The site manager is basically the master of site. He is the doer. He is the sculptor. Whatever dream or you have conceived, that has to be carved out in reality. And the one, if you ask me, the one single guiding principle for site manager is the iron triangle, which we call generally in the project management parlance, is the iron triangle of time, cost, and quality. If you compromise with one, the other two also will get affected. Say if you want to reduce the construction time, obviously the cost will increase if you keep quality constant. If you want to increase your quality, the cost will increase and maybe the time may also increase and things like that. Just a small detour. I mean, on 5th, our Honorable Prime Minister will be doing the groundbreaking ceremony of this Ayodhya temple. But do you think that is the actual beginning or initiation of the project, that temple project? No. The site manager has already taken care of the project much before that groundbreaking ceremony. In fact, the entire ceremony of groundbreaking is itself a project, and where the site manager has taken care of that and has started the project. So that way, you can say the site manager's role is much more important than the person who is, if I can say so, who is doing the groundbreaking ceremony. So just to highlight how important the role of site manager is. Then to summarize the nuances of site management, the person has to act as a bridge between your overall project management office, what we called as PMO, as one of the, it's as important as the Prime Minister's office. The PMO, project management office, is very important, who directs the overall project. Site manager has to do organizational tasks, like he has to compile the work methods, method statements, and the work activities. He has to collect and act as per drawings and plans. He has to act as per codes and regulations. He has to look for the site facilities. He has to create those site facilities as per the scheme of things, and site development of proper site infrastructure and logistics. One of the important issues is taking appropriate site measures at safety measures at site. Proper planning of site functions are very essential. Accounting of things, what be it the labor force, be it the accounting of finances, be it the accounting of materials, be it the accounting of other resources. It's a very important task which a site manager does. One of the important functions is management of hindrances. If you are constructing say a building, there's some, say some drain is coming or some pipeline is coming that has to be removed. So, or some encroachment is coming that has to be removed before you take the work further. And another important issue is the interface management, where the site manager is basically what we have conceived so far. The site is basically the subject expert kind of people. That means, say there will be different site manager for civil works, then different site manager for electrical works and things like that. But one of the important functions that all these site managers and their in charges, they should interact among themselves in effective way to take care of interface issues, so that, I mean, it generally happens if this interface issue is missing, that say building is constructed, but then there is no drainage arrangements has not been done, or electrical ducting has not been done, and then those people come later on, and things have to be redone. So all those to avoid all those things later on, at the very beginning, the interface management has to be taken care of. Quality management is the most important issue, as the paramount. Most of the time, the site manager have an oversight of quality issues in the pressure of, say, expeditious construction, or maybe in favor of some cost-cutting measure. But in my opinion, this is one of the important issues. As I mentioned, in the iron triangle, the quality should never be compromised, even at the cost of time and cost. Schedule control. I begin my story of today with the some kind of hint on this issue only, that the projects were getting delayed, and how those were delayed. The site is the genesis of all those delays. So if a site manager who is having, say, a small portion of entire project, if that guy is taking care of schedule management, proper schedule management, then obviously the all those schedules of all other site managers will run on time, and then the overall project will be completed on time. That means the schedule management will definitely help the completion of project on time. The contract controls are also an important issue, because contract is a kind of techno-legal document. Lot many issues are there, lot many conditions and clauses are mentioned there, and for proper employer contractor relationship, for timely completion, for ensuring quality and other things, compliance of all those contract conditions are very, very essential. This will also help in claim management, in or in some kind of, when there is dispute between employer and contractor, these documents and these procedures will help in effective management of claims. At site, during working, you will find, or you will some changes are required. I mean, whatever has been conceived in original tender document or in original drawings, it's not always possible to follow those instructions or those drawings verbatim at site. There are new developments, there are other site constraints which require to be incorporated in form of change for the successful completion of project. So those changes have also needs to be incorporated in your overall thing of scheme. The communication with the top management and then your team members is important, and reporting of project development, project progress, the site issues to the appropriate authorities in appropriate form of report management is also a responsibility of site manager. This I just mentioned without following, any what I summarize here. It's just a summary of experiences, you can say. It's not flowing or emanating from any standard textbook, because over the period of experiences, then you know how to follow the basics of the academic knowledge and modify them or improvise them to suit your site practices. And based on that, I had summarized the last slide. And based on that, how these things take shape in the form of best practices of the industry, that I like to show you how a project can be changed, or a project can be improved, their delivery can be improved, is when you change your conventional approach and you follow the standards project management procedures, you follow the principles laid down in project management guidelines. One of those issues is to have a separate and different PMO. As I mentioned, this is project management office. Most of the organizations don't follow this. Like, you take example of any government organization, where the officer who is supposed to be the in charge of a project, he looks after 100 more other works. He is not a dedicated project management officer who just who could focus on the nuances of the project management that is one of the sad story where the default in the project begins. Another issue which we face is the very tight procurement methods, very conventional procurement method. Procurement means, I mean, the method to say awarding a tender or procurement of the different construction materials, or for that purpose it also includes how you are going to engage your people or team for doing the project management. So this procurement includes all those issues, and this procurement method is not a tailor-made solution which you can fit. One solution fits to all, or it's a ready-made kind of thing. You have to devise your own best fit procurement method for the type of project you are going to handle. Obviously, the term modern scientific project governance looks very generic kind of words, but yes, these are the need of the hour, and you have to have a modern, you have to be receptive to recent developments in project management, using project management tools, and you need to follow the scientific methods rather than relying on some or experiences like that. Coming next, this I discussed that you have to transform from functional to project organization. Like say, for example, you take say a road project where the government office who is handling new road project, they are also doing, say, the maintenance work. They are also doing the other works like land acquisition, like utility management, and because of that, the original object of good project management misses. So instead of from having a functional organization, you need to have some kind of project organization. Because of this policy, you might be seeing that government organization or other, I mean, I'm giving you the examples of government organization because people are may connect them more easily, that whenever a project, a new work and of important work is coming that needs to be delivered, generally a new organization or setup is being created. That process itself is giving you hint that yes, or the organization is now shifting from functional to projectized organization. Like this, this freight corridor is also one of the examples. National highways, NHAI is one such example where the road construction work was taken away from the state PWDs who were more of a functional organization, and a projectized organization like NHAI was created. And coming to the process simplification, again, the simpler the process you have, better your compliances will be, faster your progress will be. Global practices in most of the developed countries have very good practices for faster construction, use of technology that needs to be adopted, duly modifying them to suit our local conditions. But obviously those practices has to be adopted and imbibed. One of the important issues is the adoption of project management tools and processes, which we generally tend to ignore. Whatever theory you may be learning here in your colleges or in your management institutes, we somehow tend to override them with our own perception or experience, which in my opinion is not good. You have to have those tools used in your own delivery of projects. This will, if you, this will help you in following some kind of discipline. A lot of project management softwares have also developed have come up, and those are not very costly. Having a project management software was a luxury, but it's not so nowadays. I'll be discussing this software, but yes, use of this software will be an essential tool as of now to go ahead. Another important issue is to emphasize on the quality, time, and cost management. Next line, I've said that exactly in this order. That means quality first, then time, and then cost. If you have to compromise with one aspect of the iron triangle, except quality, you try to compromise with the other. This will give you a good brand, a good project, a good output, which will give you the name and fame. But in my opinion, it should be followed in exactly in this manner. I discussed about the procurement methods, and your procurement methods should emphasize on this aspect. Again, the project management tools and softwares will help you on achieving all these three aspects. We generally talk about the risk management. You, as site manager, you have to identify what are the risks you are going to face for your timely project delivery, for meeting your quality standards, or completing project on time. You need to analyze those. Although there are, again, if you are having a projectized organization, there will be 3-4 levels of risk identification and risk management, and then devising a strategy for risk management. But as site manager also, you have to be part of that, and at the same time, you have to identify the new risk, and at the same time, you have to follow whatever risk you have been given input about those risks. You have to take the mitigative actions also. Coming to, I'll take a little more time on this discussion about project management softwares and tools. Primavera is very good software for project management, giving schedules and resource loaded schedules. MS Project, Microsoft Project is a bit easier as compared to Primavera. They have, as per your convenience, as per availability, you need to adopt them. If you are handling linear projects for like a road, like a railway project, then they Primavera and Microsoft projects, they have some certain limitations where you are not able to, correlate the disruptions in the linear continuity. That deficiency is properly taken care of in this space-time diagram, which I'll be showing one of the sample example from my project, that how we are using space-time diagram. Like the road has to be linearly constructed between point A and point B. Suppose in between, say a structure or encroachment is coming, then obviously that you cannot travel from A to B. And how to handle that? How much time you will have before that, if that unless that encroachment is removed within that particular time, your overall project is going to be affected. That I'll show you in the next one. Another program for this space-time diagram is the time location. It's another called Tilos. One of the program is Tilos, is one example. There are so many mobile programs that also you can look into and adopt as per suitability of your project. As Dr. Swaroop mentioned, we are extensively using drones and LiDAR technology nowadays in our projects. not only for getting the updates, regular updates of site, but also taking various technical decisions based on the inputs from drone. LiDAR is also one of the technique which we are using in the estimating also, along with the video pictures. As I mentioned, this is one of the P6 activity chart, Primavera activity chart for one of my projects, and thousands of activities have been broken down into various breakdown structures, and you can say the timelines, the different colors for the activities and sub activities, all those are resource loaded. So based on that, you can at the end of the sheet you can find out that how many resources you required, say mason or the bar bender or the quantity of cement or steel and something like that. All those you can find out, and believe me, on a larger project, without these kind of project management tools, you cannot survive. This is the space-time diagram which I was mentioning, that here, if you see, we have, say, these orange colors are bridges. And if I take from left side to right side, if I'm going there, continuously making the, this is for the railway project, say I'm linking the railway track. And unless these bridges are completed, obviously the track cannot be linked. But do we need to have this completed, say, day one? It's not. How much time we have, that we can find out from this space-time diagram. On the left side, you see, if you go from top to down, that vertical column is showing your time in increasing manner. Like it is increasing from March 13 to going down to January 19. And on the horizontal side, we have marked the space, or your project length is mentioned on the horizontal side, and the time has been mentioned on the vertical column. So if you are starting, say, from the starting chain is on the left side, and you are making your road, say, from example, you see, from one side to another side, if you are going, and the orange color where the bridge is coming, if that bridge is completed, say, by this time, I am highlighting, say, July 17, then your project is not going to affect it. But if it is not getting completed before, say, July 17, obviously your the formation could not be ready, and your work will be affected. So for completion of this bridge, you have only this much cushion, and so for that you need to do some kind of resource crunching or expedite your things to get it done. It is same on the other side also. Now these are the indicators which we have at site to see how we are progressing. The green line is showing our actual progress. The red dotted line was the theoretical line. Unless we follow that, the project will not be able to complete on time. And as you say, for a particular month, say January 18, the actual progress is 24% as against the scheduled progress of 53%. So you need to catch up this deficiency in progress, and unless you do that, the overall project will be affected. Reasons are mentioned. These are the task of site manager to identify these reasons for delays and then take mitigative action. Same scenario you can monitor for your financial progresses. The green line showing the actual progress, the red dotted line is how you have planned. Again, coming to the use of this software, this is the uh, uh, drone recording, the ortho picture taken from drones. These are properly geotagged with GPS coordinates, and on that we have marked our AutoCAD drawings for railway tracks. Here, suppose this, otherwise, normally what would have been before the use of this one, this AutoCAD drawings for construction of say new lines were drawn on plain sheet. On that sheet, it was not very clear that where the bridge will be there or where the water logging will be there, where the roads are crossing, where the electrical poles are there. But if you superimpose this AutoCAD drawings on your ortho pictures taken from drones, you can very well see the blue lines. If you can see, blue lines are your AutoCAD drawings, and then the bridge shown in that AutoCAD drawing is exactly matching with the existing bridge which needs to be extended. Same, you can see that where the roads are crossing, where water tanks is available. So this is one of the very good tool which we have incorporated in our project. And now other, I mean, if you are new and if you are going to be in charge of a new project, you also must ensure this kind of technique in your project. Next, this is another drone picture, and this red thick line is where I need to lay my railway track. There you can say very clearly that yes, this steel tank needs to be dismantled, and otherwise your site is not clear to lay your tracks. So this is one of the good use of drones. So far I have covered the overall project management, importance of project management, and in project management, how important the site management is. Then I'll just be summarizing some of those what I have already mentioned, that again, you have to have a focused project management unit. You have to have a best fit construction method or procurement method. You need to focus on quality, time, cost, scope, and you need to do the proper resource management, risk management. You need to focus on safety, health, and environmental issues. Obviously, with this COVID-19 scenario, although this was not covered in our traditional SHE plannings, but now we have come up and have incorporated the COVID-19 requirements also into our SHE manuals. This social distancing, use of masks, sanitizers, frequent sanitization of sites, that also we have included. That's how I mentioned that you need to be dynamic and proactive in adopting new things and new changes. This is also part of some change management. I have already emphasized on the use of project management softwares and tools, need of modern scientific project governance. But as project management manager, and especially as site manager, what kind of magic wand you need to have? This is a summary. If you are not that good, or if you are not adopting a very scrupulous project management techniques, if you are not able to identify those things, because there are organizations, or if your project is of a low value project where you cannot have very elaborate project management team, then how best you can safeguard your project from time and cost overruns is to look for the warning signs. That means If you don't have those specialized project management tools, then what best you can do is to look for these signals. Like what doctor does, if he doesn't have test reports, then at least he takes your blood pressure and he takes your pulse rates to gauge what kind of disease you have. This is how you have to uh, take care. That you need to be aware that even a small variance in schedule, and if it is getting bigger and bigger, then you have to be careful. If you have planned something to be completed on certain time, and if it is failing or if it's failing several times, then you have to be aware. If there are unscheduled overtimes, your workers, your employees are taking overtime, they are taking much more time and resources in completing the work, then you have to be careful that things are not going well. The compliances are getting bad, like the uh, uh, there are deviations from some, if some permission has to be sought from some civil authorities, like, say for example forest people or for irrigation people, and if those compliances are being obviated, then you need to be careful that in long run it is going to affect you very costly. This is one of the team moral, the which I am discussing now, is important. To that extent, if your team is not feeling motivated, they are low in spirits, they are not cooperating each other, then also you need to be very careful that yes, things are not progressing well. The low in moral can be a sign that either there is problem with the organization, the perks, the benefits, all those things reflect into the moral, and that as site manager you need to address that. And at least if you are not able to do anything, then you need to report it to your superiors. If there is compromise in deliverable quality and service quality, then you need to be careful. Safety violations, again, it has to be avoided at any cost, because even say a worker getting electrocuted at site, or they're not wearing helmet and is meeting any kind of accident, generally what we tend to do is to ignore, but it should not be, because the long term cost of such kind of safety violations are very high. Here, one thing I would like to highlight, what is the difference between the projects at other developed countries and in the projects running in our country, is this: the safety concerns. In international projects, what you see, that safety considerations are followed very rigorously and scrupulously. But in India, we generally tend to deviate, some kind of chalta hai attitude, which should not be. And it is this very reason, that is why the we say that labor is cheap in India and it is very costly in, say, US or in other countries. Because in other countries, they follow this safety and health provisions very scrupulously. That obviously has some kind of cost, because if they have health insurance, they provide safety gears to their laborers, obviously this will turn into some kind of cost which they charge on the project. But India, we tend to cut down these costs and say that our labor is cheap. This whole concept should change. After all, the labor has a human face, and we must appreciate the value of human value. Now I'll show you some of the projects which we are taking, and from there you can learn lessons from the proper site management. This is a site of which you can say a bridge over railway track. This is also going to carry another railway track. That means a rail flyover over existing railway tracks. You can see the bridge, big steel girders weighing around 800 tons are crossing. Definitely these have been done in this project site is in Bihar. It's very well, very close to your place, which we have done following all standards, safety norms. This is another bridge site. This is near Noida, where again you can see these big steel bridges ready to be launched over the piers. This is an example of the site which we just completed last week only. The tunnel has been made through. This is also near Noida in Aravalli range. Another bridge site you can see. You can see these photographs I'm showing just to highlight, the tidiness of site which we are following here. This is the earthwork site. This is another bridge site. There the launching of PAC girders will be done. This is the control room of this freight corridor. This has been constructed in Allahabad. This is available in Allahabad. It is almost functional and it will match with any other international rail project or in any other country. So these things are available now in India, following all those things. So these examples I have shown that am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please proceed. Sir, you are audible.
These photographs I have shown, I mean, just to show you that how a project, a big project can be handled even in India, even in the Bihar, even in state like Bihar or Eastern UP or anywhere else, following good project management techniques, adopting all safety and health concerns properly incorporated in the project. So nothing is impossible. As I mentioned, that the three iron triangle you need to keep in your mind, and then I summarize that what kind of magic wand you should have, a site manager should have. So with this, I think I have run out of my 1 hour time, and I'll whatever I have mentioned, I have quoted some of the references which I would like to thank them. These are the references, and one disclaimer that the information what I have presented is based on published sources in print and online sources, and opinions are solely my own, and it doesn't express the views or opinion of my employer, DFCCIL or Indian Railways. Thank you very much. You can ask questions.
Thank you, Ajit. And that was a very nice and very informative address that you have made. And my request to Mr. Mishra is that kindly send it across to all the students and any experts who may like to have a look or study the presentation in detail. And of course, they can always approach us for any queries or any questions they may have, which can be forwarded to Mr. Ajit Mishra, who will be happy to respond to that. Now with that, I think I hand it over to the lady and she can take the program further. So Neha, please take it over.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for enhancing our knowledge. So we were listening to our honorable speaker, Mr. Ajit Mishra, sir. Mr. Ajit Mishra, sir, is a graduate in civil engineering from IIT Kanpur and has management education from IIM Kolkata. He has over 18 years of working experience with Indian Railways in different capacities in railway track construction, road train operations, and human resource management. Presently, Sir is working as the Chief Project Engineer in Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation. Sir is extending services as resource person to United Nations Economic Commission for Europe as PPP roster expert, UNICEF CIDC faculty for PPP program, AIMA on procurement, and Institute of Management Studies, IMS Ghaziabad. Sir has delivered numerous lectures and talks on project management, procurement, contract management in IIT Delhi, IIT Patna, Railways, World Bank, and many other institutions in several countries. He has received various awards, including the National Award of Outstanding Service, which is the highest award given by Government of India to an officer. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite P.K. Mishra sir to please give a vote of thanks. P.K. Mishra sir has done M.Tech in Civil Engineering from MNIT Allahabad and holds a postgraduate diploma in Project Management. Sir has done MBA from Sikkim Manipal University and is currently pursuing PhD in Environmental Engineering from MMUT Gorakhpur. P.K. Mishra sir is Additional Director in CIDC and he has more than 30 years experience in different areas of civil engineering. Sir has also the membership of different professional bodies like the Indian Roads Congress, Indian Concrete Institute, the Institution of Civil Engineers, and many more. He is also the author of various research papers published in international journals. Sir has also written a book, Construction Industry and Skill Manpower Development in India, which is under publication. Sir, I request you to please join us.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you for the very nice introduction of mine. Let me extend my sincere thanks. On behalf of Construction Industry Development Council, Engineering Council of India, and Madan Mohan Malviya University of Technology, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this webinar. My special and sincere thanks to our Director General and Member Secretary, Engineering Council of India, Dr. P.R. Swaroop, who have guided us to develop a platform where achievers of construction industry, seniors, and the renowned personality of construction industry can share their knowledge and experience to engineering students and young engineers. In this context, today we have invited Engineer Ajit Kumar Mishra, who has given his very nice and knowledgeable experience to our young engineers, and especially engineering students, civil engineering students of Madan Mohan Malviya University of Technology.
Yes,
Again, on behalf of CIDC, ECI, and MMUT, I extend my sincere thanks to learned Engineer Ajit Kumar Mishra for sparing his time with us and sharing his knowledge and experience with our participants. But here, I'm not going to concentrate myself on Thanksgiving. I want to share some information to young engineers and engineering students that it is my suggestion that young participants should take this opportunity to associate with our expert, Engineer Ajit Kumar Mishra, and make plans to study and visit the mega projects being handled by Shri Ajit Kumar Mishra. Let me thank to our young and energetic coordinators, Pratibha, Raghavendra, and Neha for their excellent coordination and organizing this webinar in very excellent way. This is not the end, but the beginning of webinar series. Though we have conducted several webinars in association with different engineering colleges, but this is the first webinar of the webinar series going to be organized in association with Madan Mohan Malviya University of Technology. For any query, we are always happy to respond to them. If any participant has any query regarding the presentation, regarding the topic, or regarding the webinar series, he may contact to us. Again, I am informing that we are going to continue our webinars, especially on Saturday for young engineers and for engineering students. Thank you to all for joining us as participants, as seniors, and in any way. So a lot of thanks to all. Thanks. Neha, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Now here we conclude our webinar. Thank you.